He's in trouble, and down he goes!
Randy Gradishar is impressive. Randy is relentless on the field, and it is that relentless nature that led to sometimes 18, 19, 20 tackles that died that he had every single time he took the field. And the closer to the goal line it got, the better he got.
He wasn't the loudest, he wasn't the flashiest, but he hit harder, worked longer, and became the soul of a defense that terrified the NFL. His teammates called him the heart of the Orange Crush. Football historians call him a lost legend who finally found justice. This is the story of Randy Gradishar. Randy Charles Gradishar was born in 1952 in Warren, Ohio. Warren was a steel town in northeastern Ohio, a place of mills, hard work, and families who valued toughness. Life was simple, but life was never easy. In Warren, your word, your effort, and your resilience mattered more than talk. Those were the values Randy absorbed. From a young age, he was taught humility, discipline, and dedication. In high school, Randy was already standing out. At Warren Western Reserve High, he became a star athlete, earning attention not just for his size, but for his intelligence. He wasn't the kind of player who played recklessly. He studied, he anticipated, he knew where the ball was going before it arrived. Even as a teenager, that instinct separated him from the rest. College recruiters came knocking, and Randy chose Ohio State University. For an Ohio kid, it wasn't just a school, it was the school. The Buckeyes, under legendary coach Woody Hayes, were one of the most disciplined programs in America. Hayes believed in toughness, execution, and relentless focus. For a coach known for being hard on players, Randy fit perfectly. At Ohio State, Gradishar grew into one of the finest linebackers in college football. He became a tackling machine, possessed with explosive instincts. Hayes trusted him so much that he handed him the keys to the defense. Hayes once said Randy was the best linebacker I ever coached. Coming from Woody Hayes, a man who coached dozens of All-Americans, that praise meant everything. During his years with the Buckeyes, Gradishar earned consensus All-American honors. In 1973, his final season, the Ohio State defense was as tough as any in the nation, and Gradishar was its general. In tenacious games against Michigan and other rivals, Gradishar's tackling and leadership stood out. By the time he left Columbus, he wasn't just a college star. He was a future pro waiting to be drafted. The NFL came calling. In the 1974 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos made Randy Gradishar their first-round pick, 14th overall. Denver was still searching for its identity. For most of the team's history since entering the AFL in 1960, the Broncos had been an afterthought. They weren't a franchise like the Packers, Cowboys, or Steelers. They were building something, but had no real national presence. Gradishar gave them credibility. From his first snap, he was a steady force. Fans in Denver, who packed old Mile High Stadium, quickly realized they had a leader wearing number 53. He wasn't loud, he wasn't flamboyant, but he was always where the ball was. Every play, he was there. By the mid-1970s, Denver's defense earned a nickname, the Orange Crush. The name fit perfectly. The defense wasn't about one man, it was a unit of tough, blue-collar players who valued grit over glamour. They wore orange uniforms and suffocated opposing offenses with relentless hits. In the middle of this storm stood Randy Gradishar. Linebackers are the quarterbacks of the defense, and Gradishar was a field general. He diagnosed plays instantly and barked out assignments. Offensive players across the league noted how uncanny his anticipation was. Running backs said he always seemed to be waiting in the hole before they arrived. Quarterbacks felt suffocated by his awareness. There was no wasted movement in Gradishar's game. Every hit was precise. Every angle was studied. He wasn't just powerful, he was smart. The Orange Crush rises. By 1977, Denver finally broke through. The Broncos, backed by their defense, stormed into the AFC Championship game against the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders were the defending Super Bowl champions, loaded with stars like Ken Stabler, Gene Upshaw, and Jack Tatum. No one gave Denver a chance, but the Orange Crush suffocated Oakland that day. Gradishar and his teammates played with fire, anticipation, and toughness. The Broncos stunned the Raiders 20-17 and advanced to their first ever Super Bowl. Super Bowl 12 in New Orleans matched Denver against the Dallas Cowboys. It was the biggest stage the team had ever seen. Unfortunately for Denver, Dallas's physical defense overwhelmed the Broncos' offense. Dallas won 27-10, but the message was clear. The Broncos had arrived on the national stage, and the Orange Crush defense held its own. Gradishar had cemented himself in the spotlight. From that moment, he wasn't just a leader in Denver. He was one of the best linebackers in the NFL. Over the next several seasons, Gradishar racked up accolades. He made 7 Pro Bowls. He was named first-team All-Pro twice. In 1978, he was voted the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year, a season in which he recorded over 200 tackles. Opposing teams knew he was coming. They game planned to avoid him, yet they couldn't. He was relentless. Gradishar was celebrated for more than stats. His style of play was respected. He was physical but never reckless. He hit hard but he hit clean. He was a disciplined linebacker who combined elite tackling with field IQ that was unmatched. He wasn't just in the pile, he was leading the pile, the soul of the Broncos. By the late 1970s and early 1980s, Denver's reputation was secured. The Orange Crush defense became feared like the Steel Curtain in Pittsburgh or Doomsday Defense in Dallas. Fans at Mile High Stadium rallied behind their defense, and in their hearts, they knew who the leader was. It was always number 53. Gradishar's teammates adored him. They said he led by example more than words. He would spend hours in preparation, hours in film study, and then deliver on the field. His combination of patience in the locker room and fury on the field was rare. Teammates described him as humble, quiet, and endlessly driven. He didn't chase personal fame. He wanted wins, consistency, and respect for his unit. In an era filled with loud personalities, Gradishar proved that leaders didn't need to shout. They only needed to deliver. In his 10-year career, he became a Denver icon. He recorded more than 2,000 career tackles. He was always at the center of the play, always reliable, always consistent. The Broncos never worried about the middle of their defense, not when Gradishar was there. In 1983, after a decade in the NFL, Randy Gradishar retired. He had accomplished more than most defenders ever would, but true to his nature, he walked away quietly. He didn't crave the spotlight. He didn't want to hold on too long. He bowed out gracefully after giving Denver everything he had. Life after football for Randy stayed grounded. He remained in Colorado. He committed his time to family and to community causes. He helped charities, worked with youth, and stayed engaged with fans. His humility was the same as it had been as a boy in Warren, Ohio. He had been taught to value work over words, and he lived that philosophy until the end of his career and long after it. For all of his accomplishments, 7 Pro Bowls, Defensive Player of the Year, the heart of the Orange Crush, one honor always eluded him: the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Teammates, fans, and even coaches campaigned for him. Every year, his name deserved consideration. Every year, it was skipped. It was puzzling. Why was the leader of a legendary defense excluded? His stats matched or exceeded other linebackers already enshrined. His awards matched their resumes. His impact on the Broncos and on 1970s football overall was undeniable. Broncos fans grew restless. They believed their city, their team, deserved to see their defensive general recognized in Canton. But no matter how often he was denied, Gradishar never complained. He didn't seek attention. He didn't lobby reporters. He quietly waited, carrying dignity through disappointment. Others spoke for him. Former coach Dan Reeves championed his case. Fellow linebackers said he was as dominant as anyone they had faced. Slowly, momentum began to build. Finally, in 2024, the wait was over. Randy Gradishar was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. For Denver fans, it wasn't just a celebration. It was vindication. It was decades of frustration finally turning into joy. It was the long overdue recognition that the heart of the Orange Crush belonged among the immortals. Broncos Nation rejoiced. Old teammates smiled, remembering the quiet number, 53, who had carried them with humility. Fans who had screamed for him in the 70s and 80s finally saw his name etched in football history forever. A bronze bust in Canton placed him alongside the legends he had equaled on the field in his prime. Gradishar accepted the honor the same way he played: humble, grateful, and steady. He thanked his family, his coaches, his teammates, and his fans. He did not need to remind people of his greatness. The game and history spoke for him. Randy Gradishar's legacy is more than numbers, awards, or championships. His legacy is discipline. His legacy is anticipation. His legacy is leadership through action. The Orange Crush was feared in the 1970s because it was relentless, and Randy was the heart that kept it beating. He influenced an entire generation of linebackers who followed. His ability to combine intelligence with physical play became a model for modern defenders. The impact of his preparation can still be seen in today's game, where linebackers study tape deeply and pride themselves on instincts as much as speed. For Denver, Gradishar is a hero. For Ohio State, he is a Buckeye immortal. For football, he now stands as proof that humble warriors can still earn eternal recognition. Some legends roar in their own time. Others endure in silence, waiting patiently until the world at last notices. Randy Gradishar was both. He didn't need spotlight. He didn't need to talk about himself. He only needed the game. For 10 seasons, Randy Gradishar gave everything he had to his team, to his teammates, and to his city. He gave Denver its first great identity, its first great defense, and its first taste of NFL greatness. He was the tackling machine, the steady general, the relentless heart of the Orange Crush. After too long a wait, his name finally found Canton. His bust now stands among legends. His story is complete. Randy Gradishar gave Denver its heart. He gave the Orange Crush its soul, and his name will never be forgotten.